Welcome to NYPC.
Bits and Bytes.
My name is Steve McGraw.
And I'm Kit Giordano.
And today we're going to try to bring a little computer technology into your home. Now, who are you speaking with today, Kit?
First up, I'm speaking with Mary Ginsburg. We're going to talk about digital cameras and what's out on the market right now.
That sounds good. I'm going to be speaking to Ted Cohn. He's going to bring in his Treo. And we're going to be, like most people use their cell phones, only about 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he uses it like it's a PC, so this should be interesting.
Oh, wow, definitely.
Now, who else are you going to be speaking to?
I'm also talking with Mike Ostrove, who last segment came in and showed us how to clean out your PC by vacuuming it. Now he's going to talk about optimizing your PC by switching out your memory and video card. Hi, we're here with Mary Ginsburg from NYPC. Mary teaches a class on digital cameras. Hi, Mary. Welcome. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. First, tell us, where is NYPC?
Most of our classes and SIGs, special interest groups, are in the Hotel New Yorker on 34th and 8th. Some of our special interest groups are hosted by Microsoft on 6th Avenue.
Okay. And you teach a free class on digital cameras?
Actually, we have a SIG on digital photography, which is free for members of NYPC, and our membership is only $45 a year. Plus, there's a formal 2-session class for a total of 6 hours where people bring their cameras and really learn how to use their all of the controls on the camera. I devised that class myself after struggling to learn what's white balance, what's exposure value, and so forth.
Wonderful. So you run the whole gamut of digital cameras. Someone could come in with something from 5 years ago or something that they had just bought new from Radio Shack, and you kind of help everyone kind of figure it out?
Exactly, exactly. We some cameras are extremely simple, called point and shoot, and then it goes all the way up to one's SLRs, which single lens reflex, even more complex than this one.
Okay, great. Could you tell us a little bit about this camera that you have here?
Okay, this is a Nikon D70. It's about 2.5 years old. I got it after working with a point and shoot camera for a while, and I decided that I missed the depth of variation of depth and focus, and all the other adjustments that I had with a film camera. Yeah. Then I got it, and boy, there are even more adjustments than I ever dreamed of. And so I really studied it. I actually got a manual and studied it, and then I learned that other people needed the same type of help, so I set up the class.
Yes. So do you think if someone just walked into a store and bought an SLR or a camera like you have here, could they just go out and use it? Like, I'm going on vacation this weekend, and I actually don't have a digital camera, and I'm looking to find one. Would you recommend something like this or an easier point and shoot?
I would, for a first digital camera, I would recommend a point and shoot. First of all, it's a lot simpler to use. Second of all, most point and shoots are small. They'll fit in your pocket or your fanny pack, and you're going to take it with you everywhere. This camera, I don't take as many places as I used to take the point and shoot.
Yes.
And there are some really good point and shoot cameras in, I would say, the $200 to $400 range.
And is there a certain brand or a certain model that you trust? Or?
The Canon, the Nikon, the Olympus are all very good. There are a lot of other ones, of course. Those are 3 top brands.
Okay.
And what I would recommend is that you go to a place that sells cameras, like B&H or Adorama, and that really specializes in cameras. Ask to see the cameras and lift them, see how it feels in your hands.
Okay.
That's really what you should do. And before you do that, there are many websites that have camera reviews. One of them is dpreview.com, digitalphotography.review.com. That actually has a wealth of information. Now, you don't have a lot of time.
No, yes, but...
So you might just go to B&H, where they have very knowledgeable people. Tell them what you want to spend, and look at those 3 brands.
Wonderful. So for those who are hopefully a little more advanced than myself, if you have a camera like this, what kind of functions can you enjoy?
Well, one thing that many cameras, including many of the point-and-shoots, allow you to adjust the ISO, which is analogous to the film speed.
Okay.
In a traditional film camera, you would have to say, well, I'm taking a lot of sunshine shots. I'm going to try an ISO or ASA of about 200, and you're stuck with that for 36 shots.
Exactly.
Here you can change it as often as you want, shot by shot. The white balance actually takes into account the quality of the light, whether it's shade or fluorescent light or tungsten light, and you can adjust for that.
Okay. And when you shoot pictures with this camera, do you like to look through the lens like old-fashioned, or can you get a better shot looking at the image down in the screen?
I'm glad you asked that, because the looking through the lens or through the viewfinder on a point and shoot really is very helpful, and that's what I prefer. Now, many digital cameras have done away with that and only allow you to see focus through the LCD, the little screen.
Yeah.
The problem with that is if you're in bright sunshine, at the beach, on a day, on a snowy bank and so forth, you can't really see it well.
Because of the glare?
Because of the glare. And so a lot of people who have tried to use just the screen have actually gone back to a camera that has a little viewfinder, because you can really focus much better and see things much more clearly.
What about video? A lot of digital cameras today, people love taking video of their kids or their friends at a wedding. Does this camera have that capability?
This one doesn't. The higher end ones tend not to, but I think almost all of the point and shoot do. And sometimes it's really wonderful.
Yeah, and those take up a big chunk of memory, though. Is that true? Or not?
Not as much as you would think, because they're low-resolution video.
Okay. And
you can actually take a fair amount. But one of the things, now you're traveling to Italy, you said.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. That sounds so exciting.
I definitely need a camera.
You definitely need a camera. You should get extra batteries.
Okay.
Make sure, now you might want to, depending on the camera you get, you might want to take AA batteries. Some cameras will take AA's.
As opposed to a special battery you'd have to get at a store.
Right. You want to see if your battery charger needs an adapter to work in Italy. And I would take, cards are very inexpensive these days. It's wonderfully inexpensive. And I would take I would suggest 1 gig cards, because they'll hold a lot, and yet if a card fails, and it can happen, you don't have everything on them.
So there's no need to be stingy with my picture taking. I can just bring lots of cards.
None whatsoever.
Well, Mary, thank you so much
you're
for coming
very welcome.
Today. And there's still so much to learn about digital cameras.
There really is.
And that's wonderful. Did you say, is it once a week your class? Or once a month?
The SIG, which is included in the NYPC membership, meets once a month.
Okay,
sometimes we'll have a field trip, which is extra.
Great.
Then the formal class, lately I've been holding it about once a month because of the demand.
Great. Well, thank you again, and hopefully anyone else who has questions can contact NYPC.
Absolutely, and I hope you have a wonderful trip and get a camera before you go.
Thanks so much. I promise I will.
Okay.
I'm with Ted Cohn from NYPC. Ted, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you teach a SIG about cell phones.
Yes, I teach a class at NYPC on a monthly basis for about $25 to $30.
But now there's a SIG also, which is a special interest group.
Right, SIG, special interest groups, and that meets the fourth Wednesday of each month, and we go over cell phones in general and specifically the Treo.
Okay, how many people are in the class?
Usually from 5 to 15, and it's not really a class, it's a group that gets together that has a common interest, like a wine club gets wine, this is it, this is this. So it's a lot of interesting people just talking about cell phones, and because it serves the internet, our interests are varied, so we're searching the internet for interesting topics.
Excellent. Now, they say that you use your Treo like most people use their PC.
Right. My PC is an accessory for this.
Okay.
Because I can do most of the email, browsing, reading articles, reading ebooks on this. Photoshop and intensive computing thing is what you're still going to do on the computer.
On the desktop, okay.
But most everyday stuff, office work and stuff like that, you can do on this. That's why I say my office is at the Met.
Great.
Central Park. If it's a nice day, I'm outside because I can do everything on this.
All right, now explain how it works. You said there's 2 radio signals coming in here, or 2...
Just like at home.
All right.
You pay twice. You pay for phone,
all right,
and you pay for the internet coming in.
Okay.
2 separate things. Just like this, there's 2 radios, one for voice using the minutes, which every cell phone company advertises. All right. And then what sets cell phone companies apart is a data plan. So I pay separately for data to use the internet, to use email.
Texting, is that considered?
Texting is part of the phone network.
Okay.
Which is very interesting. So you can be online and still receive.
Can you give me a price on that? On the phone and on the data, you just called it. Just an approximate.
Well, one of the things is it all works with a contract.
All right.
That's how the cell phones companies subsidize the phones, is with the contracts.
Okay.
So if you're in a contract, you have no leverage with the cell phone companies. This goes for about $650. With a contract, you can get it down to $300. But you have to get a 2-year contract, so you're locked into this phone for 2 years. Now, a lot's happening in cell phones these days. The iPhone's coming out.
Right.
And what you have to recognize, whenever you get a cell phone, you're able to use it for 15, some have for 30 days. And once after the 15 or 30 days, you're locked into and you have to pay a termination fee. So it's not really like consumer electronics. You go to any store.
Right.
Once you have it after 15 days, it's yours and it's expensive to return.
Right.
Now, the other thing is you should buy insurance for an expensive cell phone, because if you have to replace it, you have no leverage. And therefore, it's going to be $650.
So you should buy insurance. A lot of times they say not to do that.
But that's if you have a cheap phone.
Right.
But if you have to replace this.
Something like this.
And the insurance can only be bought within the first, I think, 45 days. So if you wait too long, the insurance is not available for a cell phone. You have to buy it within 45 days of getting the phone.
Okay.
And therefore, if something happens, it extends a manufacturer's warranty, and you don't have to pay $650 for a new phone.
All right, let's see what this baby can do. You love your Treo. You say it's like a PC. Let me see it act like a PC.
Okay. Now, it does all the phone functions that you want. Here's the phone interface.
Okay, great.
And it does a speakerphone and all that kind of stuff. But one of the fun things about this is to use it as a computer.
Okay.
So here's the phone interface, but we'll go to the computer interface. And here's some of the programs you have. Here are documents, and I just said that if you want to do email, just to show you on this, you can do all the proper formats. You can see it says MS Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDF. So if you get an email
with an attachment,
you can read it in this program.
Okay, excellent.
Okay, so you
and you can surf the internet.
You can surf the internet. And
can you get to Google, let's say?
Right. Okay. Well, we can do. You see web.
All right.
And we'll do the basic functions. Like here, you have VersaMail and web. So if you have web. Now, one of the problems if you use IE or Firefox is it bookmarks or favorites. Who knows what they call it?
Who knows what it is?
And in this program, it's called bookmarks.
Okay.
And here are all my bookmarks. I have quite a few.
Now, how are you connecting to the internet?
Right. On the data plan of the carrier, and I have Sprint. It's not a hotspot.
So this is not a Wi-Fi situation,
no.
like a laptop would.
A laptop would. The problem with hotspots is that they're only within a certain radius, and they don't transfer from hotspot to hotspot, so you can't walk down the street on a call.
Right.
Or on a data, because it'll break the connection and you have to reestablish. The good thing about a cellular data network is it's continuous. You can go from New York to Washington on a train and have continuous.
On the train?
On continuous, because the cell towers hand off from tower to tower.
Okay.
Wi-Fi doesn't do that.
All right.
And so with Sprint.
And you're with Sprint, but there are other carriers.
Other carriers, and it's the same way. It depends on their coverage, actually, and price. And later on, we'll talk about the pricing and the coverage. But right now, we'll see here, we have Google.
Right.
And I'll just hit the Google. Now I'm connecting to the data.
All right.
And signing on. I have a password and everything in there.
Okay.
And now I'm sending, and I'm going to go. Now, this isn't the fast. They do have fast network speeds, but it's not as fast as cable. But I propose to you that yes, you have a fast network at home, but
I see Google right here, so that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, here's your Google, and you have your search term, and you can search Google.
Right.
And here we can have another bookmark at NYPC, and I have that right here, and I'll just enter that. And the thing is, you can see how easy it is to use without a stylus. With these buttons, you can really control it with a one-hand operation.
It's
and
incredible.
As you can see here, here's the NYP, New York Personal Computer User Group.
Right.
And you can go in here and look at all the codes. So it's really quite a good browser. It's not the same browser on your PC because naturally the horsepower and it has to work on a battery and stuff like this.
Sure.
But it doesn't do Flash, but practically everything else.
And you can play music. You can watch DVDs. You said on
this.
Well,
let's get into that because what do I like to do in life, and how does this enhance my life?
Right.
And I like to watch movies,
okay,
stuff like that in the subways. And one of these things is it has a movie player, and most of these players are free. Now, this is a fun movie to watch, The French Connection. And I'll just turn this sound on. It's one of the greatest scenes at all.
Now, did you download that, or how did you?
I have a DVD.
You can turn the volume off. I've seen Popeye in this great chase scene.
And the thing, there's a device that you can change from your TV to digital.
Excellent.
And then you can have it on here. And
that was great quality.
Audio. Now, the nice thing about this is that New York Public Library has ebooks. And so any time of day or night, you can get the ebooks to read. So this is a movie.
Right.
And one of the nice things that I like to do is if there's a movie I like, it was usually based on a book.
Sure.
So usually I search for a book. And one of the things is that on this, yes, The French Connection was fictionalized of a book. And here.
It's trying to search for it.
No, here, and then I said, okay. And go to the first page, and there's a French Connection.
Excellent.
So this is an ebook that I can read on here. Now, a lot of people...
They're going to say it's tough to read on this.
Right.
Which it probably is, but I mean,
if you
what are
think
your
about
choices?
You think about it, but it really isn't that hard.
Let's see. If you're holding it up, yeah, look.
There's a text, and you can change the text. And it's a lot easier to read on the subway than a book in rush hour. But both people saying that's too small, stuff like that. But I want to show that if you look at any magazine, and look at the columns, and look on any printed thing on the internet. It's not all across the screen, because that's too tiring. So if you take the New York Times, for example, or any magazine article, and put this against it, the width of this
Let's hold it down here so people can see it.
Okay.
No, let's just hold that. We know what a column of the book is. Yeah.
So the thing is that if you put the New York Times behind this will be the width of the column. The only thing is psychologically you're used to looking around at different articles. But once you're scrolling down, it's easy to scroll and read the book. And so it's a little bit like learning how to touch type. Once you learn to touch type, you're going fast and you're doing this.
Now, you were saying about the transferring. Can you show me, there's a little...
Oh, right. One of the things, it has a USB, it has a SD card. Now, one of the great things about this SD card is that it has a USB hub built in.
That's amazing. So that sticks right into the back of your computer or your laptop?
A lot of computers now have it in the front.
Sure, right. So you don't have to crawl around in the back.
And what I showed you this with the MS Word, the Excel, it reads what they call natively. You don't have to manipulate the thing to read on here. So you put this in your computer, you're typing a Word document. Instead of saving to your My Documents, you save it to your removable hard disk, which is this.
Right.
You load it on here, and you can read it on here. The same thing with the audio. Any file that you have on your computer, you just drag.
Right onto this.
Right onto this.
And how large is that?
This is 2 gigabytes.
2 gigabytes.
This is like 3 CDs worth. I mean, CDs are old now. You're talking DVDs. So I have 4 movies on this, 3 ebooks, all my business documents, back up to this, and I still have 300K left.
That's amazing.
So it's like what they call those drives that people are carrying around with them.
The thumb drives.
The
flash drive.
This is a thumb. This is a thumb drive that I can carry on with me that I can use and put it in here. And so that's where the movies reside on this removable, and I can change the movies when I want to. Download new ones when I get tired of one. I can put a new one on. And
now, what's the battery life of something like this?
The battery life of this, as a straight phone, it's for several days, like any phone. You have 200 hours or 5 days of on time and 5 hours of talk time. But since I'm using this so much as a device, what's really important to this is that it has a removable battery, that I can change batteries midstream.
Sure.
Because when you're using it for internet radio. For instance, that's one of the nice things about this is that when I grew up, I listened to an old transistor radio.
Sure.
Not stereo, and listen to this.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm showing my age or whatever, but on the same thing, this is...
Let's hear a little bit of radio.
This is an internet radio.
Now, how is that connecting? Is that with
It's for the data.
That's the data, which is with Sprint about $15.
Unlimited. And one of the things here is that you want unlimited data, and when you're online, surfing pages and stuff like that, you're downloading a lot of graphics. So you're downloading a lot of data, so you want an unlimited plan. So one of the advantages of Sprint, you want an unlimited plan, not a per-play plan.
Okay.
And
so let's hear the radio, and then we're just going to have you back because
right.
we've got to go on to some other segments.
And here's the radio, and
okay,
here's an XR station out of Texas. Now it's connecting to the internet.
Okay.
And you can get National Public Radio. The great thing about National Public Radio is that they have all these shows, but they have the shows at different times throughout the country.
Can you turn this on so we can hear it?
Yeah, it's signing on now.
Okay.
It's establishing. Now it says it's connecting up here.
Okay.
And now it's buffering. And in 2 seconds, I turn it on.
And what are we listening to?
To electronic music, which I like, trance and stuff like that. And you can see here, if you were to hear, I have the Beatles radio, and I have different radio stations, and there are tons and tons of radio stations.
Okay, Ted, we're going to love to have you back someday.
I
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much. It's a great
Come
great
to NYPC to the group.
Okay, it's NYPC SIG, and the SIG is called?
The wireless SIG, cell phone SIG.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Ted.
I am here with Mike Ostrove from NYPC. Mike, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Kit.
Of course. You're going to tell us a little bit today about how to optimize our PCs,
Yes.
right?
Last segment, we discussed the physical cleaning of your PC with a vacuum to get out all the dust, which is crucial. But if you really want to optimize your PC, there are 3 critical components that you have to look at. The first one is memory, your physical memory, which come in some form of this type of stick here, a memory stick. Also your video card, which if you purchased a cheapo PC like $400 or $300, usually the video is resident on the motherboard, which is the main board in the PC. And usually they're very cheap chips. So what you want to do is buy an individual card that will optimize your PC.
So when do you think you'd want to go about replacing your video card?
When you're really dragging, when your PC is kind of at a crawl. And it could be that way for many reasons. But if you want to speed it up and optimize it, you want to change your video card, especially if you have one of those cheap PCs that have the video on the motherboard. It's not really optimized for applications like video or any sort of intensive application. So if you buy a separate video card like this, you'll be doing yourself justice.
So could I go to my neighborhood office supply store or computer store and pick up a video
Well, the
card?
first thing you want to do, especially with memory, is determine how much you really need. And you could do that by going to a site called crucial.com. And that, all you have to do is put in the model of your PC, and Crucial has a memory identifier, and they'll let you know exactly what type of memory stick like this you need. And the maximum amount you could put in your PC. So it's a very good site. It's crucial.com. And we'll post that up on the screen for you. Now with the video card, you really have to do a little research and make sure you get the proper adapter, edge card adapter it's called, that'll fit into the slot in your PC.
And would you go to the website of the brand of the computer that you own, or?
Yeah, you could do that, and they'll give you some suggestions as to what type of video card you can use. But it depends on what your application is. If you're a gamer, you want to get the best video card you can, because speed is of the essence with somebody doing gaming. If you're doing video editing, that's very intensive also. So you want to get a very
Final Cut Pro or something?
Exactly. So you want to get the best video card you can. And again, that little chip on the motherboard that they give you is not sufficient to do that.
So let's say I'm not happy with my video card.
Right.
What do? I take out my screwdriver and...
You just open the case. You'll identify the connector on here, which is a 15-pin connector. And you'll take out the plug that attaches to the monitor. and you could just extract the video card and put in your new one.
Now, if I'm not that comfortable with that, since I'm not the most tech-savvy person, would I take my computer into the shop, or?
Well, you could. You have a number of options. You could take it to one of the big boys, or you could support our club, NYPC, by bringing it to our PC clinic, which we'll be holding sometime next month or the month after. You just look on our website, the calendar, and you'll be able to notice that I'll be running a PC clinic. And it's a great bargain. It's $50 for any PC that you bring in, and we'll change out cards and we'll clean up your PC for you.
Great.
So it's a fantastic deal. The last item that you want to consider is a hard drive. Now, a lot of hard drives that are given, again, in those inexpensive PCs are very slow. They run at 5,400 RPM, what's called IDE hard drives.
Okay.
Now, the new type out is called SATA, which stands for Serial ATA Bus, and you get much better speed and transfer of information by going to that type of hard drive. So that's a bit more complicated. I would suggest you either, if you're not comfortable, you get a technician to do that for you, or bring it to our clinic again. But if you upgrade to that type of hard drive, you'll notice a substantial increase.
And if you switch hard drives, what happens to the data that's on your old hard drive?
Well, what you do is you prepare the new hard drive, and you just transfer the information via a cable that's included usually with the hard drive, or you can buy it separately. Okay. But I will be presenting in subsequent segments of the show how to do each individual upgrade.
Oh, wonderful.
So not to worry about it. But again, we're here to help you. That's what NYPC is all about, and we'd love to see a lot of folks at the PC clinic. So please come and get your PC optimized.
Wonderful.
And you'll notice a fantastic increase in speed.
I know there are a lot of us out there whose computers are not running as fast as we'd like, and this optimization sounds easy and really beneficial. So thank you so much for coming by.
My pleasure. Thank you.
That's our show today. Did you learn anything, Kit?
I learned so much about both digital cameras and optimizing my PC.
So go to the website, nypc.org, and come on down and visit. Thanks a lot.